in the city of Birmingham, if you did not hear, there was a shooting over the weekend that led to, I had the story pulled up a moment ago, that led to 4 people being killed, 17 people being wounded. It was a targeted hit in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, a city that I formerly called home. And the mayor's office, believe it or not, here it is. Here's the story. The mayor, Randall Woodfin, said that the mass shooting that left 4 dead and 17 injured Saturday night has led for him to call for a renewal on a ban on Glock switches. Work with me here. I know many of you already know the answer to this, but let's feed these baby birds that maybe don't. Switches or conversion kits are aftermarket items that are used on handguns like Glocks that can potentially allow them to fire in a fully automatic fashion with one continuous pull of the trigger. So according to Woodfin and others at the scene, some of the police department at the Birmingham Police Department, the number of casualties and bullets found at the scene at 5 Point South, which is a pretty big, that's a popular area for younger, UAB is nearby, University of Alabama, Birmingham. And so a lot of the students go into that area. There's bars and whatnot down there. There's a pool hall down on 5 Point South. According to Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin, he believes a switch or a conversion kit was used. During a press conference yesterday, Woodfin said he wanted to work with the state to ban such devices and give police the tools that they need to get killers off the street, regardless of what people think about the Second Amendment. Woodfin admitted that Birmingham was, quote, the tip of the spear of a gun violence epidemic. You listening there, Jeremiah? A gun violence epidemic in America. But he said the problem is solvable. Quote, now, some would say I'm getting too political, but I'm a politician, so I need to speak the truth and publicly share my thoughts and what I'm feeling so people can understand what's at stake here. Woodfin referenced the federal assault weapons ban enacted in 1994 and in existence from 94 to 04, said gun violence was at an all-time low while it was in place. Switches and conversion kits, he's demanding that the state of Alabama make these illegal. Switches and conversion kits are illegal under federal law. And when Woodfin was asked about that, he said, well, not enough resources are allocated to the enforcement of their existence. Well, wait a minute. If they're illegal and if making something illegal automatically means that a criminal's not going to utilize that for criminal type of crap, then how in the world would you suggest that a conversion kit was used in this case? Because they're already illegal. Oh, by the way, murder's illegal, Randall. Why did they murder someone in the beginning? Why in the world would we have these murders? Did they not know that murder was illegal? Because if making something illegal magically means that it's not going to happen anymore. Woodfin continued, I don't have any interest in this whole debate about Second Amendment rights. I'm sure you don't. We don't have any interest in people wanting to protect their homes, militia, whatever else you want to say. There's a certain element in this city, there's an element in this community who are too comfortable riding around with semi-automatic weapons, automatic weapons, conversions, switches, and everything else, whose only hell-bent intent is to harm people, shoot people, kill people. So he's willing to go there when it comes to the guns, but not go there when it comes to the communities that are involved in all of this. How about you go to where the goats can graze on it, Randall, and talk about the communities that we're discussing and why it is these fatherless families where young people are growing up without parental guidance, where mothers are either unwilling or overwhelmed in a way to actually raise their kids in a fashion where they know that it isn't permissible in a civilized society to go out shooting up joints because you've been dissed in some form or fashion. What about the epidemic of fatherlessness in the inner city, Randall? I mean, I understand that it behooves you in your effort to run as a gubernatorial candidate in the next governor's election in the state of Alabama, which he will, by the way. He'll run as a Democrat. He'll get his brains beaten in by Will Ainsworth, who's currently the lieutenant governor, who'll probably be the next governor of the state of Alabama. But let's not beat around the bush. Hearts and minds have to be changed, and that starts in homes. And when these homes have no fathers in them, no parental figures, no discipline within the homes, no respect for authority within the homes, what do you expect to get out of these homes? According to State Representative Philip Insler of Montgomery and Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed, whose city has also been plagued by gun violence, they also support the idea of banning Glock switches. Once again, Glock switches are already, conversion to fully automatic pistols that's already illegal. But that doesn't start these folks. So they don't want to address the true causal factors. According to House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels of Huntsville, we must take immediate and meaningful actions like banning Glock switches and repealing the horrific permitless concealed carry law in order to keep weapons from those who should never have had them in the first place. This isn't a culture war issue over the right to own a gun. It's about the safety of everyone. Oh, of course it is. If Democrats had their way, you would not have a Second Amendment to begin with. 615-737-9986. Anyway, that's what's going on just to the south of us. So if you want to look at low crime rates, look no further than the city of Nashville, the city of Memphis, or our neighbor to the south, Birmingham, Alabama, and their crime epidemic and their inability to solve it because they won't address it. They won't address the true causal factors. They want to talk about guns. They don't want to talk about fatherless families and kids growing up in the inner city looking up to drug dealers and thugs on the street as opposed to looking up to the type of figures that might lead them down a path where they're a productive member of society and they don't become a lawless thug themselves. And by the way, before y'all come at me, I have no idea what color these people are. So it ain't a color thing because I don't know. I don't know what color they are. It doesn't matter what color they are. It matters how they're brought up. 615-737-9986. I'm going to say that this is not denial, that it's Daniel. That's what I'm going to say. It looked kind of like denial, but I'm going with Daniel in Tullahoma. Hey, Daniel, how are you?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm great.
When it comes to the Second Amendment, these idiots, and I'm including any and all politicians that do not understand the Second Amendment, it says, shall not infringe. If you violate that, actually anything repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. You also have the Dick Act of whatever year, I can't remember it. But, again, we're going to have to reprogram these politicians, and we're going to have to reprogram these people that Constitution is absolute, shall not infringe. And if you violate that, you go against it, get your ass out.
It's an interesting thing. We talk about it on occasion on Fridays during our visits with Jay St. Clair. The word no doesn't mean no, sadly. And we talked about this with regard to the First Amendment last week. The First Amendment of the Constitution, I understand the Second Amendment says, I think I can remember this off the top of my head, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I think that's basically right for the Second Amendment. The First Amendment is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. I know I'm showing off. Congress shall make no law. abridging the freedom of speech. So, Daniel, I would ask you, do we make laws abridging the freedom of speech? Of course we do. So no doesn't mean no when it comes to the Constitution of the United States. Do we make laws abridging your ability to own a suitcase nuke? We do. We do. I'll address this in just a moment. And yes, 8695, he did say the Dick Act. I don't know what that is in the context of, I need to look it up. I hope I'm not coming back on the other side of the break apologizing to everyone. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.